Moed Katan, Perek Gimel, Mishnah Zayin. We're going to continue talking about certain halachot of avelut, of mourning. It says the Mishnah, Ein kor'in v'lo chotzin v'ein mavrin ela krovav shamet. If a person lo alin loses a loved one on Chag, and then they have to do the burial on Chol Homoed, kor'in is kriya, tearing one's clothes. Chotzin, that's not chalitza that we normally know. Chotzin is when they had a custom of uncovering their shoulder. Okay, that they would uncover, I'll show you, the Bartanura says, Chalitzat katef, the uncovering of the shoulder, shizro otehen v'kitfehem megulot. Their arm and the shoulder, they would take off their, they would normally wear the cloak, however they would wear it, and they would leave it uncovered as a sign of mourning. That's chotzim. Mavrin, from a seudat havra'ah. Mavrin is to have a meal together, a common meal. Let's look at the Bartanura again. You see there's a long commentary in Bartanura about who they're doing, how they do avelut for it, etc., etc. I'm not going to go into all of Bartanura. He says, V'lo mavrin, su'uda rishona. Let's go, I'll write it for you just so you know what it's called. It's called su'udat havra'ah. It's a certain kind, it's the first meal, that's mavrin, su'uda rishona. She'avel asur le'echol mishalom. When an avel returns home after the funeral, as we all know, these provided a common meal from the community. And we'll see in a second how they would bring it. And in their custom, in the time of the Mishnah, they did this havra'ah, lahavrot. Interesting what the Hebrew word means. It's lahavrot. Let's look it up for a second. Here the Jasher says mavrin from havra'ah, strengthening food. There you go. It's a food of encouragement from the community. Okay, so that's the first meal. You offer this food, you strengthen him, you give him this meal in the street. But since it's Chol Homoed, ein mavrin ela krova betoch beito. So you do this sudat havra'ah only for the relatives. Nobody else can eat with them, and it's only in the krovim, only the direct relatives. So that's what we said. Ein korin v'lo chotzin ve'ein mavrin. All these things are not done, except. So ein plus ella is only. So only the krovav, the direct relatives of the deceased, they tear kriya, they uncover their shoulders, and they participate in the sudat havra'ah. Ve'ein mavrin ella amitaz kufa, and they only do havra'ah on amitaz kufa, an upright bed. Because remember, normally when they do avelut, it's mitah kufa. They would take their chairs and they would turn them down. So normally, during Chol Homoed, they eat their meal on a regular chair. They don't sit on the floor. Now, the Bartanura says, this is talking about even on the Kahatis, this is talking about even normally. Ein molichin lebeita evel. You don't bring the food to the house of the avel. Lo betavla. A tavla is a kind of like a tray, a very fancy tray. Okay, so the Kahati says a tavla is a very nice, fancy tray. V'lo be iskutla. Iskutla is a kind of bowl that was made of either silver or glass. V'lo be kanon. A kanon is a kind of a very special basket. Ela besalin, they would use regular pour baskets. Why would they use regular pour baskets? Okay, arava klufa, it was made out of willow, arava, right? Arava, no, it's willow is, I think so, whatever. Normal, they would make it out of like lulav, whatever. Shalol vayesha aniyim shebaim lahavrot she'enhem tava be'iskutla. Because the poor people also brought food, and they didn't have these fancy, stemwares or the fancy plateware or whatever. They didn't have fancy things. And if the rich people bring their nicety and say, we brought you this thing, then the poor people wouldn't bring either. And we have a number of halachot like that the custom was to do the lowest common denominator. The Gemara says, I'm pretty sure the Gemara says, one of the reasons why we do our burials, we dress tachrichim in plain linen, and we do burials in a plain box, is for this reason, so that the poor shouldn't feel embarrassed. Here, the rich people are in these huge coffins, and the poor people are in a plain pine box. So everybody does it in the plain box for this reason. Similarly, you don't bring all the fancy food, ela bisalim, in the simple baskets, so that everyone should feel comfortable. So the Kanti says that there was a special bracha. You look it up in the Gemara in Ketuvot, Avchet Amud Bet, there's a special bracha. It was called Brichat Avelim. They would come, they give some sort of tanchumim, some sort of consolation, and it ended with Baruch Menachem Avelim. So you don't do that in Chol Homoed. But Aval Omdin B'Shura Umenachamim. This people are familiar with. If you've ever been to a funeral, there's a shura. Stand in two lines, and the people walk through, and you offer tanchumim, makom yanachem etchem, upotrim et harabim, and then they go home immediately. The Bartanura says, notim lem reshut lelech miyad. Because it's still Chol Homoed, so everybody they offered their Nichum Avelim, and then the Avelim send them home, to celebrate the rest of the Chag. Alright, we'll stop here and dedicate our learning to the memory of my father, Harav Simcha ben Yitzchak Kalman. Have a great day.